Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. I'm just having one of those kinds of days where the brain is all a moodle muddle and I'm not really entirely sure where I want to go today. I was away at a retreat this weekend, went to the retreat, and it was a combination of yoga and meditation and sort of restorative yoga poses, which are so relaxing. And there was an afternoon for introspection, and there was a hike, and there was food. Well, I didn't think it qualified as food, but other people did. And anyways, one of the things that kept arising from different people is letting things go. And people there were talking more on a kind of internal emotional kind of level, relationship level, hanging on to toxic things that aggravate you in relationships, setting boundaries, all this kind of stuff, which at the moment was not really, driving me very much. I have to confess to being fairly shallow, because I kept thinking, gee, what is the thing that's worrying me the most? And I came up with, I don't ordinarily order meat when I'm away at those sorts of things because I never know how they're going to prepare it, and I'm squeamish. So I worry about what's the appearance of the meat. Now, I don't usually worry about the taste. It's usually what's it going to look like? So for me, the big driving urgency for the first 24 hours was the chicken breast going to be on the bone or not? So then it was the weirdest cut of chicken breast I've ever seen, because like a large portion of it was not on the bone, but then there was this, thing sticking up, and I thought, what bone is that? I've never seen that bone. That doesn't look like a chicken bone. Anyways, this was my deep introspective discovery, was that I just really dislike bone on chicken on bones. So yeah, I don't know if that was well spent money. Other good things did happen, but the course of it was this whole letting go of things. And so people were working on their relationships and so on, and I kept thinking, what is the thing that's the most distressing in my life is my book pile. This book pile is really sort of one of my main arteries, and if I don't have a selection of books, if I don't have a pile at least this high sitting on the steps, I'm anxious. And then I get even more confused and anxious if the books on the pile are not books that I chose, but that book clubs chose, or that people have given to me to read, but they'd like it back. If someone gives me a book and they don't want it back, then that's gravy, because then I can just do it at my own leisure. And I recognize that it's a gift and it's thoughtful and it comes from a place of love. And so without a deadline, I can embrace that. But if there's a bit of a deadline attached to it, then I just get more and more anxious. So for the last, I guess really almost since September, there's not been a good relationship going on with my book pile for some of those reasons. And I haven't read a book since Monday, I think. And Monday I had a French test and came home, and I don't even remember. Oh, the vlog, putting up the vlog for you guys technically was a nightmare, so I didn't read anything on Tuesday. And Wednesday, I had another French test, so I didn't read prior. I have another test in about 2 hours, and I haven't studied. I just decided I need to do this video. So I'm trying to think about, what is it about this pile that I can do to fix it? Because if you're going to let something go, if you're going to let the regrets go and so on, is it going to be like a pure, just catastrophic purge? Or are you going to try and be a bit more thoughtful and stepwise and all these sorts of things? So while I was looking at this pile before I started filming, I realized that I do have it in categories. But what I don't have it in is the category of what really excites me and what doesn't. Yeah. So I think if I can sort of break it down first into those two categories, then maybe this pile doesn't look quite so uninspiring. Because when I go through it book by book, I go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But I don't know, maybe maybe I need to redecorate. Maybe it's just a question of aesthetics. Anyways, I'm going to shut off for a second and do some shuffling and come back to you. So what you see before you is my obviously unsuccessful attempt to divide things into two piles. And what I did discover, though, in doing this, that it's not quite as... I think it's really just a question of books that are there, and I'm not sure why. So this big tall pile over here, this one, that's the stuff that I've purchased myself or were on my bookshelves that I was pretty sure I wanted to read. This little pile, let me see, right down in front, those are 4 books that are belonging to my book club choices. And in 2 cases, they are books that I have already read, which, I don't know, sometimes that's good, that's not, I don't know. We'll talk about that in a sec. Then I have, where am I? The book at the back, the pile of books at the back, behind, that is the pile of books that are rereads for me, that I, you know, I actually had agency and chose that pile of books, but they are rereads, and I'm not a rereader. And so it's this pile here in the front, right here, that are the books that people gave to me that I don't have a deadline attached to. So, and then in the back, I don't think you can see it. No, I think it's lost. I have divided my nonfiction into the books I really want to read and the books that I bought because I thought I'd want to read them, but I don't. So the 2 things that have come out of this little portion is I'm going to take the nonfiction that I really don't want to read and just give it a walk up the stairs to put in a pile there where I can just ignore it. And the other thing, I'm going to take the book club books and, well, I'll just... The book club books aren't all bad. One is a reread for me. All My Rage is a reread for me, and I really liked it, and that's just going to be a skimmer. The Drowned Woods, I think I read the first chapter, and I think it was okay. I just have to start. This one, Sisters and Brothers, is Patrick DeWitt, is a book club book, I think in January. One of the things about book club books, and I think that's part of why I get a little frustrated, is that you put your name down at the library and you just can't control when it's going to come in. And quite often there's a big pile of people behind you. So, I mean, I could be really rude and I could just read this whenever I feel like it, but you know, then all the people behind me aren't going to see it for weeks and weeks because I might wait 2 months before I get to it if it's not due till January. So it means that I'm reading a January book in November, and that, I don't know, that just messes my head. And then Burnham Wood, I thought it was Burnham Wool and I got all excited. I thought, oh, maybe it's a book about textiles, but no, it's not. I have no idea what it's about. Something about unregulated guerrilla gardening in New Zealand. I don't know. That it's someone, well, obviously someone in the book club thinks it's going to be a real delight. So I'm going to put the book club books down here and try and work my way through them quickly. Yeah, actually, that's the piece that's kind of bothering me, is that the book club books are out of sync and there's too many of them. So they get in the way of this. Okay, so the books that are rereads for me, I think what I'm going to do also is there's some books that I really do want to reread. So I'll show them to you because I know there's some people who do like a book list. I usually don't do that, but just for today, I've got Annie Proulx's The Shipping News, and Edward Reish, Rare Birds. And I think those 2 came about because we were talking about Newfoundland and writers about Newfoundland. Looking for Alaska by John Green. I really enjoyed John Green, the first, oh, that's got a terrible glare on it. I really enjoyed his writing as I countered it, and just thinking, I watch him on a YouTube video, and I just thought I would like to just read stuff. He references some of his books once in a while, and I enjoyed reading them. Okay, this one, some of you may remember it, The Fire Pavilions. Oh, it was such a pivotal book back in, when was it published? Oh, look at that print, it's so small. Oh my dear. It was first published in 1978, MMK. Some of you people who are of my age group will remember this. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to divide this into stuff to read in the summer. This is a good category for the summer up at the camp. This one, Goodnight, Mr. Tom, is not so much a reread as I saw the movie, and I adored the movie. So I really do want to read this one. That's going to go in my excited pile when I get there. The Grapes of Wrath by Steinbeck was something that, yeah, I keep wanting to redo that. I'm fairly keen on that one. Huckleberry Finn, I really enjoy, and I do like this one. I'm thinking it might go on my bedside table for a winter reread. And Timothy Findley, The Wars, I don't think I ever read it, but there was a discussion going around in one of my reading books about how Timothy Findley has kind of dropped off the pages or the awareness. So, yeah. That's a summer book. Okay, so that's a set of decisions. Takes out a pile of books. Goes into the summer pile. Okay, voila! These books, whoops. There's nothing that really jumps out at me. I think they're pretty much the category of, I think you'll like this, Lorene, and you don't need to give it back. So I think, again, so there's nothing really crazy jumping out at me. I think I'm going to put that into the next summer pile, and just assess it in the new year. Maybe there's something that would be a good winter book, but I don't think so. Nothing's kind of like grabbing me. Okay, what I have got up here is the Susan Cooper's book series. One of them's deep in there. So there's 5 to this, and I think I talked about it. I picked it up in Lunenburg at one of those used bookstores. And this is something that I really do want to read. I'm particularly interested in Green Witch. So I'm going to put that in my current reading ambitions pile. But this series by Edgar Eger about magic is very lightweight, very fluffy. It's absolutely perfect for bedtime reading. And I've got one on the go right now. And although they're not short stories, they're definite chapters. His writing style is that a chapter generally doesn't ever have a cliffhanger. It's very, very much an episode in his characters' lives. So it just makes it a really good bedtime read category. So that goes up to bed. That goes up to bed. And then I have a couple in here that I'm not 100% sure. Like, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Woo! Timber! Just 2. Book of Dragons and a mystery called Dragon's Lair, Medieval Mystery by Sharon Kay. So I'll show you the titles. Sorry. And because I'm not going to put all these books down below, I'm not going to write them up. You're just going to have to pause the video if you're really keen on something that I'm talking about. This is if I'm dividing my books into my dream piles, this would be in the not so keen. So I'm going to just stop for a second. Okay, I divided the stuff that I purchased and that I think I really want to read into 2 piles. This is the pile that I'm just not 100% sure about. Like, the energy's revving around 60%, I would say. And so it was the two that I just held up. A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. Steve recommended this one. And I think it's a poetic novel about the World War I and a broken marriage. And I feel, so what I'm going to kind of do is split things. I was going to say I was going to split things into winter and summer, but everything's winter right now. It's like it's not just a couple of weeks away, summer. It's going to be months away. So I want to get through this pile soon because I want that energy. So I'm going to put that in the soon pile, the later pile. True Deceiver, Tove Jansson. It's a book that's supposed to be more about the darker side of her writing ideas and life and so on. So I think that's for sure. Why do I put dark books in the winter? Why do we do that? That's when we should have the fluffy books. Maybe I'll put that in the, I don't know. Okay, Minds of Winter. I can't remember why. It's something about the Arctic Circle. And so I think that one, I don't remember why. I have it on my pile. So I'm going to put it in the probably later pile. Then I have got Explosion in a Cathedral that I picked up this summer, and the printing threw me off because it is so small. So there's that book. I'm going to put that there. This one, an anthology of Arctic horror stories I'm saving for Christmas because there's the thing that we've been doing in our family for a couple of years now, which is to read ghost stories at Christmas. And I don't remember, I think that comes out of the Victorian Christmas tradition or something. But anyways, so I've read 2 of these. And I think what we're going to do for the winter is probably connect up with Phoebe by Zoom one night a week, and with my eldest and their partner on their Zoom at their place. And then we'll probably do some read-alouds of ghost short stories. I think that's what we said we were going to do. Could be wrong. So that's a special project book. This book's been kind of haunting me, and I feel like I should just ditch it. I really was enjoying it, but for some reason I got stuck halfway. I know there was a good reason, and I keep saying I should pick it back up and start at the beginning. This is definitely a book I want to read. Wilkie Collins, The Moonstone. I don't know if I've read it. It's one of those books that's talked about people who do classics, and it's supposed to be one of the first sensational detective type stories. I don't really know who claims that honor. So, but this one is supposed to be, Wilkie Collins is kind of a spooky writer, and you might know The Woman in White. I think that's his famous one. So this one keeps getting referenced over and over again, and I thought I'm just going to get it and read it finally and just make sure that it's done. So it goes in my ambiguous pile because that's more about meeting needs than it is about being excited. Goodnight, Mr. Tom, I talked about, and that's an excitement book. The Deepening Stream by Dorothy Caldwell Canfield Fisher. I don't remember. It's been there for almost 2.5 years, so I'm going to put it with Thistlefoot, followed by The Lark. I just started. I've got about a chapter in, and it has something to do with Thoreau, which, too bad, but, you know, I love her writing. Why do I say too bad about Thoreau? Well, that's a very long story. And it's not like too bad, like, what a dreadful man. It's more just like, yeah, I don't, ho-hum. So I'm going to put that there because I do love Helen Humphreys. The Painted Veil by Somerset Maugham. What I'm going to do is there's a booktuber that I follow, Tristan in the Classics. And he's got a recent video out that talks about the 10 books that Penguin Collins first published. And this is one of them. And I believe that they republished that set not too long ago. And I had either read, I think I read about 5 of the books that they talked about. And 2 of the books, one was a Faulkner book, that I just didn't want to, I'm not fussy on Faulkner. Can't remember what the other one was. And then so I picked up the two that that I had never read. So this is the second one. Moonstones was part of that collection as well. Okay, so The Painted Veil is story of the beautiful but love-starved Kitty Fane. When her husband discovers her adulterous affair, he forces her to accompany him to the heart of a cholera epidemic. He's a doctor. Stripped of the British society of her youth and the small but effective society she fought so hard to attain in Hong Kong, she's compelled by her awakening conscience to reassess her life and learn how to love. So I've got two friends who I think they might want to do this as a read-along. So I'm going to make that as a proposal for the winter as well. Terry Pratchett and Equal Rights. I want to read that one fairly soon because I love a Terry Pratchett book. And A Grandmother Begins the Story. I picked by Michelle Porter. I picked this one up in the summer, and I don't really know why. It was an impulse buy, and I was not really like. It's in a maybe. It goes in the maybe. And the last Helen Humphreys that at the moment that I have on my pile is The Evening Chorus. It's a novel about love, war, and the ways of escape. So that's what I'm really excited by. Excited. Pretty excited. And then two library books, just to round it out. The Ember and the Ashes. I do like this author, and this is going to be a YA fantasy. And this is book 4 in the Jonathan Stroud series that I've talked about a couple of times. So that's I'm excited. And I didn't hold that up long enough, sorry. So fairly excited. Okay, look at that. We've actually managed to kind of break it down into groups. I've got 4 piles. Excited, semi-excited, maybe, and a different kind of maybe. And then those guys, and those guys, and those guys. You know what? It looks better. I've taken out a lot of debris. And so I'll put it back on the shelf and show you what I came up with. Okay. What you see before you is an organized pile and an organized mind. This pile of books over here, that's my book club books. And I will get to those as I need to. And this big pile is the stuff that's going to be for next summer. Okay, that looks a whole lot better. The pile back in there, the pile back in there are the nonfiction that I'll probably, it's hard to point and look. How does it, there we go. That pile right there is the nonfiction that I'm probably gonna never get to. I just have a feeling. And the book club books go there. And the little pile back here is whenever I come across a book that I have read that is meant for books that don't crush your soul, I pop them in there. That will come in, when will I do that? Probably in the winter. I'll probably do that again in the winter. So thank you all for hanging around this long and helping me sort out my books. And I think the first book I'm going to read, which is the first book that I should read? Well, I don't know. If you saw something go past that you think looks pretty exciting, just let me know, and that could be the first one that I start with. So that's like over there. Oh my God. There. Over there. That's where the excitement starts. Over here, that's diminishing returns of excitement. Okay, I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and that you're not as muddled up as me, and that you're having a lovely late autumn day, wherever you are. Bye-bye for now.